Welcome my dear listeners, stay with me to get the spoilers first and subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on The Young and the Restless. Lily panics over Kane's detention as Matt escapes the desert. The Young and the Restless week of May 4 to 8 is shaping up to be one long sprint from one crisis to another, and the new preview video makes that painfully clear. Kane Ashby is about to be arrested at the absolute worst time. Lily Winters is about to lose it completely. Patty Williams is heading back into the GCAC with way too much here for the mood in the room, and Matt Clark is somehow still alive after the chaos in the desert. The result is a week where no one gets to breathe, no one gets to feel safe, and everyone is left trying to survive the fallout of someone else's bad decision. Kane is the center of it all. Kane's arrest is the soap timing that feels almost cruel because it's happening while Malcolm Winters' life-saving procedure is on the line. Lily is already emotionally drained from Malcolm's condition, and the idea that Kane might miss Newark because he is carted away in handcuffs by the police is enough to put her in a panic. She can hardly believe what she sees in the preview. They are taking away the Kane and she has to stand here and watch. That alone would be a disaster, but the stakes are higher still because Malcolm's procedure cannot wait forever. Every minute lost is a minute less for a man who needs that surgery to live. That's most heartbreaking is that Kane isn't even pretending this is no big deal. He knows the timing is bad and tries to keep Lily from falling apart by telling her Amanda Sinclair will post his bail. He even says he will be there on time in Newark. That's the kind of promise soap characters make when they are desperate to keep everyone calm. When the whole thing is already starting to spiral out of control, Kane wants to make Lily believe this is just a temporary setback. He wants her to believe he can fix it first enough to get on the plane and make it to Malcolm's procedure. But none of that's going to make Lily feel better. She's seen too many calamities begin with "don't worry, I'll be right back," and that's why she starts to get really angry. Lily is likely to bend that anger on the Newmans because in her mind they are the ones turning a life or death medical family crisis into a legal ambush. Kane was already ready to give back the Newman empire to Victor Newman when Phyllis Summers chloroformed him and took control instead. That's important because it changes the shape of Lily's outrage. She is not merely watching Kane's arrest, she watches the Newman's push. The man trying to help her family out of the middle of a mess he didn't make all by himself. Lily might say that it should be Phyllis who pays the price, not Kane. To Lily-ish, that is. Malcolm's life hangs in the balance. She is not interested in tidy rationalizations, corporate chase. If the Newmans screwed up this procedure, she will remember every second of it. If Kane ends up in a jail cell rather than on a plane, missing the surgery as a result, that is the kind of thing Lily would probably hold against Victor for a very long time. Here's more than the anger about Kane in her eyes. It will be about every extra complication that is family war has brought to her life. But Kane's arrest brings Amanda back into the spotlight too. He tells Lily that Amanda is going to bail him out, so she still is one of the few people who can get him out of trouble first. It doesn't make it any less stressful, but it does give Kane a way out. The problem is that Lily doesn't need a legal technicality, she needs Malcolm to live. She needs Kane in Newark, steady, focused, and physically there. Bail doesn't cure panic. It just makes the panic more organized. As Lily spirals, the preview also drops a much lighter looking but actually pretty ominous scene at the GCSC. Patty Williams walks in and says to Victor and Diane at the bar, "Well, hello, you two." A cheaper, almost obnoxious little cue. Oh, could this day get any better? This is the kind of entrance that lets you know Patty is either blissfully ignorant of how much damage she can do or deeply amused by the thought. Given Patty's history, it's probably a little of both. Already people are uneasy about Patty's presence in town, but the fact that Jack Abbott has apparently recruited her to be part of his plan against Victor makes the scene all the most dangerous. Patty is not some random nuisance coming in. She enters as someone who thinks she is in the know. Just that makes her a problem when she arrives. Victor and Diane already look glum, which suggests they know this is not going to be a normal bar interaction. Patty smells tension a mile away, and she is the kind of person who could run straight into it, not away from it. And that matters because Jack's plan isn't likely to be subtle. If she is chosen to use Patty against Victor, then she is obviously prepared to use one of Victor's old emotional landmines as leverage. Patty has always been mercurial, which is useful in the only way a soap wildcard can be useful. She can say the wrong thing, reveal the wrong detail, get the wrong reaction, and suddenly Victor is dealing with a problem she didn't expect to face that day. But Patty is not just comic relief. She is a loose cannon with a smile, and Jack knows it. The Patsy scene in the GCSE preview promises to be an upcoming disaster. Victor is stressed already, Diane's already suspicious, Patty is cheerful by half, and in the background Jack is about to smirk as his plan starts to come together. That is to say, the scene is less about Patty being there and more about what she represents. Another reminder that no one in the town ever really gets to bury the past. While Victor may want to focus on the empire and Diane may want to focus on her future with Jack, Patty walking in is a sign that old chaos is being invited back into the room. And then there's Matt. Matt is the other big engine is this week and the reason the story never lets up for a second. In a preview, he drags himself out of the desert even with the head injury Sienna Buckle gave him. That alone is enough to keep the tension alive because everyone assumed Sienna's attack might have stopped him or at least slowed him down enough to create some distance. Instead, he walks up boorish, confused and still moving. Finally, he reaches a dinner where a waitress notices the gash on his head and that he seems out of it. That image alone is perfect soul imagery. A broken villain in a public place acting strange enough that a stranger knows something is wrong but lucid enough to continue the game. The waitress asks if he is alright and Matt takes the opportunity to hold up what looks like a key card and ask how far away the place is. That little detail changes everything because it tells us Matt is still trying to get back to his hotel, regroup and continue plotting against the Newmans. Even with a concussion, even with a memory loss. He is still on the board. He remains a danger. He is still the sort of guy who will accept help from a stranger if it keeps the plan alive. The preview even allows for memory loss, which only makes the situation more creepy. Matt might have a little confusion from the head injury, but he might need to put some things together as he goes. But the key is that his vendetta against the Newmans might be the one thing he won't forget. The worst thing for the people around him. A guy like Matt could lose his bearings, his sense of place, his immediate awareness, and still fix it on the same old target. Sienna might think she nearly killed him, but the truth is she may have just pissed off him enough to make his next move even more ruthless. That's what makes this week feel like a countdown. Kane is trying to escape from a legal problem so he can make a life-saving fight. Lily struggles to maintain her composure as she observes the man she adores being taken away by the authorities. Patty, grinning like a live wire, is happily inserting herself into Victor's day. Some dinner, Matt is bleeding. He has a key card in his hand and revenge in his head. He asks for direction and the Newmans are already back in the sights. With Victor's own family were fueling the machine that could keep the whole cycle going. No matter where the scene goes, the emotional pattern is the same. Every character is being forced to deal with someone else's fallout. Lily's paying the cost for the Newman feud. Kane's paying for the Phyllis chloroform thing and the mess with the Empire. Victor and Diane are footing the bill for Patty's presence and Jack's plans. Matt is paying for Sienna's headbutt but still refusing to let that get in the way. And Noah and Sienna and the rest of the Fallout crew are left to pick up the emotional pieces after it all. The best soap stories never keep the damage contained, and this week looks like the perfect example. Kane's arrest is more than a legal drama. It threatens Malcolm's procedure. Patty's happy arrival at the GCSE is not only a strange distraction, but sets Jack's trap in motion. Matt's dinner scene is not just a hint of survival, but rather a confirmation that the villain is very much at large and very much plotting the next phase of revenge. So, from the sneak peek, it looks like the week of May 4 to 8 is going to be one of those classic YNR episodes where one arrest, one confrontation, and one wrong question is all it takes to start a chain reaction. Kane might swear he can still make it to Newark. Lily might not believe him. Patty thinks she is having a great day. Victor and Diane might want her to stay away. And Matt, Boris, and Platiot might be just hours away from reminding the world that the desert was never to be his ending. And here's the part that really lingers. This isn't just chaos, it's consequence, catching up with everyone at once. Because when one crisis hits a family, you brace for impact, but when three collide at the same time, something always breaks. And honestly, I don't think Lily is just panicking about Kane. I think she is starting to lose trust in a system that keeps failing her when it matters most. That kind of emotional crack doesn't heal easily, it spreads. And Kane's promise to make it in time feels less like confidence and more like the kind of line soaps use right before everything goes wrong. So here's the uncomfortable question. What if he doesn't make it? What if Lily has to face a moment where love, loyalty, and timing all fail at her once? And then there's Matt, because let's be real, a wounded villain is always more dangerous than a powerful one. He is not just coming back, he is coming back angry, and that changes the rules completely, in my opinion. This is the turning point where the story stops being about control and starts being about survival, because once fear replaces a strategy, nobody's thinking clearly anymore. So now I want to ask you, do you think Lily should trust Kane and stay calm, or should she start preparing for the worst right now? And what about Matt? Is he about to make one calculated move or completely snap and go off script? Because if I had to predict what's coming next, I would say we are heading toward a moment where two storylines collide in the worst possible way. One at the hospital, one in the shadows. And when those worlds meet, someone's life could change forever. So keep your eyes on the small details this week, because the stories like this, the quiet moments, are usually hiding the biggest shocks.